We've been fed BS for at least 100 years. Of course, there are plenty of speculations that our Draco bodies took care of that some 6,000 years ago, sustainably supplying the deception in every branch of what we think is science. But that's a separate subject. For now, we are more certain that it's been deceptive for at least 100 years. Take a careful look at this space cam footage where you notice two weird looking black dots move along the way to the station. Of course, our famous space agency buddies and their worshippers would yell that those are the spoiled or missing pixels in the camera, or the more classical dirt or ice particles stuck on the lens, but we would prefer to think otherwise. We would suggest here that those two specks of dirt are the support slash escort slash convoy vessels that cover the station in case of not standard situations that may occur there with the station and or its astronaut occupants. The propulsion system and technology can handle the job well, as they don't use good old farting rockets but field density modulation instead. So in case of non-standard situations, the response of propagation is abrupt. They also don't use standard rocket missiles, as they are likely comparable with the turtle reaction. No offense to any turtles. But again, some sort of longitudinal medium perturbation modality weapon to intercept the bad ones who would only think to dare to change the aggregate state of the artifact we called ISS, or to kidnap the occupants in order to turn them, let's say, into slaves or food or both. They'd regret to have such thoughts. As they say, as below, so above, so it wouldn't be wise to reject such possibility. Of course, you would say they rarely appear on camera, so they could be still those damn pixels, but what if otherwise? In that event, the level of insecurity for the station high above normal, and the range around is again densely packed with those vessels, so that again to increase the chances of protecting station, it's likely doesn't have any or enough armor to or protective field, or wouldn't change the direction in an offensive case. It is just open to any source of actions of a bit more advanced tech. At this point, some of the worshippers of a bend in space will bend their brains, and witnesses of a Big Bang would witness the Big Bang on a micro scale of their body bottoms. Yet we will not yet they will not accept all of that has been said here. And by the way, regarding space benders, no offense, but is this a form of perceptual retardation or an elaborate kind of genetic degeneration? And in this question comes the answers. Actually, the other way around, as in order to develop a certain perception, your DNA is likely to be manipulated so that only certain concepts accepted, even though they fall apart when closely analyzed, like in a double slit experiment when consciousness defines the actual outcome. Limited perception, in turn, defines the limited access to whatever there is, as by default it is already limited. Here comes the science within such paradigm, where any decline from calibrated information is punishable and bullied, where any proof violating the rules established by the system trigger immediate fight or flight response of worshipping dogs protecting the master. For here comes the reason the official sign in any way is anything but the truth, as there lies the foundation of control, the control of billions of surface dwellers. You shouldn't take these words for granted or argue, but rather think for yourself. Now, going back to our escorting spaceships, the situation of classified programs in this field of alternative defense system and propulsion, especially after the World War II, becomes the primary task, as the insecurity of a Cold War, where any leak of inappropriate data from and to any system of control from the both sides endangers the values of that system, which is likely based on competition, therefore the control of information, therefore its distortion by embedding the resultant substrate into the educational system, which in turn again create the programming institutions for security or insecurity for upcoming new generations. For now, press the bell button or subscribe for new updates here. Thank you for thinking.